we were able to successfully redistribute that route. So now if we ping it, it should work, correct? But it's not working, and the reason why it's not working is because this requires mutual redistribution, because right now it's only one-way redistribution, so only BGP knows about OSPF routes. OSPF doesn't know about BGP routes. So, and welcome back to another lab video for the NRC exam. In this video, I'll be going over troubleshooting redistribution into BGP. In this lab, I'll just be doing mutual redistribution between OSPF and BGP. I'll go ahead and explain the main key difference that you need to look out for. Now we're just going to go through redistributing between OSPF right here and eBGP. This lab may look very complex. Again, check out the other video. I'll give you all the information how this lab got set up and everything. But the main thing that I wanted to go over is how this lab is set up. So what we have here is a static route that is pointing to a loopback address that's simulating a LAN network on this side. So the static route that it's pointing to is 10.0.0.6. Let me go ahead and just show you what I'm talking about. This is router 5. I'm logged in there. Alright, I'm in router 5. So if I do, as you can see, we got that one route right here. That's pointing to 20.0.1.6. So if we go back over to the topology, 20.0.1.6 would be this guy. And the route that we're pointing for is 10.0.6. So I should be able to hit 10.0.6.6, and I can. If we go into R3, if we look, he's the OSPF neighbor to R5. He should have that route. Let's see if he does have it. So IP route OSPF, and as you can see, he has that. He's learning that as an external route right here. And we can also verify that in the OSPF database. And as you can see, it's a type 5 external route to 10.0.6.0. So what we're going to want, and then we have these intra area routes, right? That would be those routes that it's learning right here within area 0, the routes that it's learning from router 5. So for this lab, what I want to do is redistribute that external route that's sitting in here. I want to redistribute that over into BGP. Right now, the BGP neighbors here are R2 and R3. So let's log into R2, verify that. As you can see, we do a BGP sum neighbor. We can see 120.87.43.3, router 3 is the BGP neighbor, up times 18 minutes, all of that, right? It is learning some routes. So if we do a show IP route BGP, oh, it's not learning anything right here. Let's see, show IP neighbors 120.87.43.3. Yeah, it's not learning that route. Sorry, it's not learning that route via BGP because it's a directly connected route. So that one takes precedence over learning it via BGP. So what I wanted to show you is just doing that redistribution. So we'll get into that. So if we redistribute OSPF routes into BGP, what happens if we just go in here and go conft, and the AS number that we're working in is AS100 right here. So we go router BGP AS100, and then we're going to go into the address family of IPv4. The next part is going to be redistribute OSPF1. That right there should show us the redistribution, right? So to verify that we're redistributing it, one step that we could take is if we do a show IP BGP neighbors 120.87, right? And then we'll do advertise routes. So these 20.0, 20.01, and 20.02, I'll show you those, 20.0, 20.01, and 20.02. Those are all those OSPF intra-area routes that are being redistributed via OSPF, as we could verify because they're being advertised. So that means that R2 should now have those as BGP routes. As we can see, it just learned them 58 seconds ago. But that's where the issue lies in. And this is the main key difference. If you're taking notes, this is what you need to understand, or the thing that they're probably going to troubleshoot. Probably going to test you on when you're troubleshooting redistribution into BGP. This only has to deal with OSPF. This does not have to deal with EIGRP. That's why I decided to do redistribution between OSPF and BGP, because this only applies to the OSPF, specifically OSPF external routes. Let me show you. So the issue here is I've already explained that we do have that external route that we learned about, right, in the database. That external route, we still have it. I could still ping it from here, but we need R2 to be able to ping it from here, right? And it can't, so it times out. So the problem here is our redistribution command, section BGP. If I pull that up, that is the incorrect syntax to redistribute OSPF routes, because the only reason why is if you're redistributing into BGP, you have to specify external routes as well, because by default, only with OSPF, when you redistribute OSPF routes, it's only going to redistribute internal routes by default. So let's go back into BGP and I'll show you how to redistribute those external routes. So again, you go into the address family, IPv4, because we're dealing with IPv4. Once you go in here, we'll go ahead and do a no, right? Let's go ahead and a no to that redistribute, right? We're going to want to redistribute OSPF1. Let's look at some of the options. As you can see, we got match, metric, route map. This is the options that you can use to redistribute OSPF routes. We're specifically focusing on that option match right here. Match option allows you to specify both internal and external OSPF routes. Remember, this is an external OSPF route, so we have to specify specifically OSPF external routes. Again, this is with OSPF only. So to do that, first of all, we're going to say internal. We want to redistribute those because we want to keep those. It's going to ask you, okay, you want to do internal, and do you want to set a metric for that or anything? You can set metrics and all of that. We don't want to do that. And then we want to also specify external. That's what this part of the syntax means. And then it says, well, what type of external OSPF routes do you want to redistribute? You got type 2 and type 1. The difference between type 2 and type 1 is that type 1 are external routes that'll be redistributed with the cost of the links to come up with that metric. This will just use the default metric when you redistribute this external route. We're only going to do the type 2 today. If you want me to do a video about type 1 a little bit more in depth and explain that theory or concept a little bit more, go ahead and drop a comment or whatever. I could drop a quick little video on that as well. Alright, so once we do that, as you can see, it took the command. So let's go ahead and verify now what kind of routes are being advertised. Before, let's scroll back up. If you remember, the only routes that were being advertised were these internal routes by default, right? Which were the 20.00, 20.01, and 20.02. But remember, we have this external route right here, this static route that needs to be redistributed as well. So if we do come back over here and run our same command to verify what routes are being advertised, as you can see the difference, we now have that 10.06 route being advertised as well, right? So now let's see what router 2 got. We do show IP route BGP. There it is. We were able to successfully redistribute that route. So now if we ping it, it should work, correct? But it's not working, and the reason why it's not working is because this requires mutual redistribution, because right now it's only one-way redistribution, so only BGP knows about OSPF routes. OSPF doesn't know about BGP routes. So to do that, we go back onto this router right here where we're doing the mutual redistribution, which is router 3. And then all we have to do is simply go into router OSPF1 right here, router OSPF1, right? And then we just do redistribute BGP. And this is important. You got to put the AS, which is 100. But what I wanted to show you is the options here of what kind of routes to redistribute from BGP. You want to use this keyword subnets, as if you don't, it's going to do only classful networks when it redistributes it, meaning only anything that's classless, you're not going to be able to redistribute. If you don't know the difference between classful and classless, that's just a simple Google search, and you can probably brush up on that if you're studying for the NRC. Let me go ahead and just show you. I think this iOS version that I'm running will spit out. This iOS version tells you if you don't include that keyword subnets, basically that's what this message is pointing out to me. Only classful networks will be redistributed. And this 10.06 is not a classful network. That's a classless network. So let's go ahead and drop that in there. Redistribute BGP 100 subnets, right? BGP, nothing's changed here, right? But now our ping should work, and it does, because now we have the mutual redistribution. All right, folks, that was it. Another one in the books, another lab. I hope you learned something. I hope you gained some kind of value and got some kind of information. If I'm explaining stuff wrong, definitely hit me up in the comments. Let me know. If you want to tap in with me, again, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Definitely like, subscribe to the channel. Please share this video. And y'all let me know what else y'all want to see. Y'all holla at me. I'll catch y'all on that next video.